Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever noticed how sometimes the most powerful people in the room aren't always the loudest? The ones who leave a lasting impression are those who speak with purpose, who know when to stay quiet, and who let their presence do the talking. They leave people reflecting not because of what they said, but because of how they made them feel sometimes by saying nothing at all. Mastering the art of presence is about more than just showing up. It's about being truly engaged, in tune with the moment, and commanding attention without force. It's not about being the loudest or the most outgoing person in the room, but about creating an energy that naturally draws people in. Presence is felt, not heard. When you master this, people remember you not because of what you said, but because of how you made them feel. Being present means giving your full attention to the situation at hand. In a world filled with distractions, those who can stay focused on the moment stand out. When you're fully present, people feel heard and understood. They recognize that your attention isn't fragmented, that you're not halfway into your phone or daydreaming about what comes next. This kind of attentiveness is magnetic. It makes people want to be around you because they feel valued in your presence. But presence is also about body language and the signals you send even when you're not speaking. Are you open and approachable or closed off and distant? Your posture, your eye contact, even the way you listen, all of this contributes to your presence. The best communicators understand that their presence begins long before they open their mouths. It starts with how they carry themselves, how they enter a room, and how they make others feel at ease. Now, there's a certain calm confidence that comes with mastering presence. It's the quiet assurance that you don't need to prove anything with words or actions because your very being communicates strength, wisdom, and control. It's the ability to remain composed even when others are frantic or uncertain. When you exude this kind of presence, people trust you. They sense your stability, and they look to you for leadership, even if you never raise your voice. To master presence, you have to develop self-awareness. You need to understand how you come across to others, what energy you bring into a room, and how your actions align with your values. Are you a calming influence, or do you add to the chaos? Are you attentive, or are you distracted? These are the subtle but powerful elements that define your presence. In the end, mastering the art of presence isn't about speaking more or doing more. It's about being more engaged, more thoughtful, more intentional. When you do this, you don't have to force people to pay attention. They'll naturally gravitate toward you, and the impact you leave will be undeniable. Speak less but mean more. It's a principle that carries a deep, quiet strength. When we focus on speaking less, we aren't diminishing our voice or presence. Instead, we're elevating the value of our words. We make every sentence, every phrase count. There's something incredibly powerful about being concise yet impactful, about knowing that when we speak, it's because we have something meaningful to contribute. It's about choosing substance over volume. When you think about it, words are easy to come by. Anyone can talk endlessly, fill the air with opinions, ideas, and commentary. But speaking just to speak often dilutes the impact. People might listen, but they aren't absorbing much because there's too much to sift through. On the other hand, when someone speaks with intention, sparing words, carefully chosen to convey a deeper meaning, people stop and take notice. The message becomes clearer, more impactful, and more memorable. Think of those moments when someone you admire says something that sticks with you. It's rarely because they were talking a lot. It's usually because, in just a few words, they gave you something profound to think about. That's the magic of speaking less but meaning more. It leaves room for the other person to reflect, to absorb the full weight of what's been said. This doesn't mean withholding your thoughts or ideas. It means refining them, shaping them into something that holds value. You don't need to dominate a conversation to influence it. You don't need to over-explain when your point can stand on its own. When we reduce the quantity of our words, we allow for a higher quality of communication. We engage in conversations that matter, and we listen more attentively because we're not rushing to fill the silence. It's also about respecting other people's time and attention. When we speak less, we signal that we understand the value of their focus. We show that we've taken the time to think things through and are sharing only what's truly necessary. This respect goes a long way in building trust and credibility. People appreciate brevity when it's packed with insight, and they remember the person who didn't waste their time. In a world where everyone seems to be competing for attention, The person who speaks less but means more stands out. There's a certain magnetism to someone who doesn't feel the need to prove themselves through endless chatter, someone who is confident enough to let their words and their actions speak for them. In a world where words are often overused, the true essence of influence and leadership comes from what we do, not what we say. Words can be powerful, yes, but without the actions to back them up, they are just empty promises. Have you ever noticed how much more powerful it is when someone delivers on what they say without needing to constantly remind you of their intentions? That's because actions hold a weight that words simply cannot match. Actions are proof, they are evidence, and they are indisputable. When we rely on actions to communicate, we cut through the noise. We don't need to boast or explain ourselves endlessly. Instead, we show our capabilities, our integrity, and our dedication through what we do. There's an old saying that goes, "What you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say." This captures the heart of this idea. People pay attention to results, not rhetoric. They remember those who consistently show up and deliver, not those who merely talk about it. By letting your actions do the talking, you also build credibility. Trust is earned through consistent, reliable behavior. If you say you're going to do something and follow through, people begin to trust you. But if all you do is talk without backing it up, that trust erodes quickly. In a business setting, for instance, your team or clients will always respect the one who gets things done, who meets their promises through action. In personal relationships, it's the same. The actions you take every day, whether it's showing up for someone, being reliable, or demonstrating care, say more than words ever could. And here's the beauty of it: when you let actions speak, they often echo louder and for longer. A well-executed plan or a fulfilled promise leaves an impression that sticks with people. You don't need to constantly remind others of what you've done. The results speak for themselves. When you prove yourself through your actions, people talk about you in ways that you couldn't even imagine achieving through words alone. Moreover, there's an element of humility that comes with allowing your actions to do the talking. You're not seeking recognition through boasting or attention-seeking. Instead, you let your work, your deeds, and your efforts stand as a testament to your character. Humility doesn't mean you don't acknowledge your successes, it just means you let them unfold naturally, without the need for constant verbal validation. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're tempted to explain or justify yourself with words, pause and remember, let your actions speak for you. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget what you did. That's the kind of influence that lasts, the kind that shapes your reputation and creates a legacy that words alone could never achieve. The power of pauses is often overlooked, yet it can be one of the most effective tools in communication. When we think about delivering a message, our minds often focus on what to say and how to say it, but rarely on when to stop talking. Pauses, however, have a unique ability to amplify what you're saying by giving the listener a moment to reflect, to digest, and to anticipate what comes next. A pause isn't just empty space, it's a tool for emphasis. Think about the moments in conversation or presentations when something profound is said. If there's no pause after it, the message may be lost in the rush to get to the next point. But if you pause even for a second, it gives your words room to breathe. That brief silence adds weight, making the listener aware that what was just said matters. It commands attention without saying a word. The pause also gives you, the speaker, control over the conversation. It creates a rhythm, a cadence that is difficult to interrupt. When you pause intentionally, it signals confidence. You're not rushing to fill the silence because you know the power of letting your words sink in. It tells your audience that you're thoughtful, that you're deliberate, and that every word you speak has purpose. But it's not just about you, it's about them. Pauses allow your audience to catch up with your message. You see, people don't process words at the speed we speak them. They need a moment to reflect, to make connections, and to internalize what they've just heard. Without pauses, you risk overwhelming them, flooding their minds with information they haven't had time to absorb. A well-placed pause respects the audience's need to think and respond, even if only internally. Moreover, pauses can build anticipation. They signal that something important is about to follow. In the gap of silence, the listener leans in, awaiting what comes next with heightened attention. It's a moment of subtle tension, where curiosity is sparked and their engagement deepens. In this way, silence becomes an active part of the conversation, pulling people in rather than letting their minds drift. Lastly, pauses give you time to compose your thoughts. In the rush of communication, we often say things we don't mean or ramble through ideas without clarity. A pause provides a moment to reflect before you continue, ensuring that what you say next is intentional and impactful. In essence, understanding the power of pauses means understanding the rhythm of communication. It's not just about speaking, it's about creating moments of silence that make your words resonate more profoundly. Pauses, when used wisely, transform a message from mere information into an experience, leaving a lasting impression that extends far beyond the moment of speaking. Building credibility through consistent results is one of the most powerful ways to gain respect and trust. You see, anyone can make promises, anyone can talk about what they intend to do, but few people follow through. That's why credibility is built not on words but on actions. It's in the delivery of consistent, reliable outcomes where true trust is earned. Let's think about it. People are naturally drawn to those they can count on. If you consistently produce results, people know they can rely on you. This reliability builds a reputation that speaks louder than any words you could say. Over time, your actions create a track record, and that track record becomes your credibility. It's not built overnight, but rather through repeated demonstration of competence, commitment, and follow-through. Now, here's the key. It's not just about doing a good job once or twice. Consistency is about doing it over and over, even when no one is watching, even when the circumstances aren't ideal, and especially when it's hard. It's easy to deliver results when everything is going smoothly. The real test of consistency comes when things get tough. That's when people are really watching. How do you handle setbacks? How do you respond when things don't go as planned? If you can still deliver under pressure, that's when your credibility truly begins to grow. Consistency also builds confidence not just in others, but in yourself. The more you consistently achieve, the more you trust your own abilities. That confidence shows up in the way you carry yourself, and people can sense it. They trust you not because of what you say, but because you have shown them time and time again that you can get the job done. And let's be clear, consistency doesn't mean perfection. You're going to have moments where things don't go as planned. But when you make it a habit to deliver more often than not, people will give you grace in those moments of failure. Why? Because you've already proven yourself. They'll believe that a setback is just a temporary bump, not a reflection of your overall capability. So how do you build this consistency? Start with small wins. Don't try to overpromise and underdeliver. Instead, focus on steady, reliable progress. Set achievable goals and hit them. Then move on to bigger challenges. Over time, this builds a momentum of success that becomes hard to stop. As your track record grows, so does your credibility. In the end, credibility built through consistent results doesn't need to be shouted from the rooftops. It's a quiet confidence, a silent power. It doesn't need validation because it speaks for itself. People will recognize it, and they will come to trust you not because you say you're credible, but because you've shown them you are. Exuding confidence without arrogance is a delicate balance, but it's one of the most powerful traits a person can develop. Confidence is about being certain of your abilities, knowing your worth, and being comfortable in your own skin. It's the quiet assurance that you can handle what life throws at you without needing to announce it to the world. Arrogance, on the other hand, is born out of insecurity, masking itself in bravado and seeking validation from others. The distinction is important because one attracts respect while the other repels it. To exude confidence without crossing into arrogance, start by grounding yourself in humility. Confidence comes from knowing your strengths and accepting your weaknesses. It's understanding that you're capable, but you're not infallible. Arrogant individuals tend to overestimate their abilities and dismiss the value of others, while confident people acknowledge their limitations and remain open to growth. They listen as much as they speak, recognizing that learning is a lifelong process. Confidence also shows in how you treat others. People who are truly confident don't feel the need to belittle or dominate conversations. They lift others up, knowing that someone else's success doesn't diminish their own. In contrast, arrogance often manifests in putting others down as a way to feel superior. When you're confident, you understand that everyone has something to offer, and you're secure enough to celebrate other people's strengths, not feel threatened by them. Another key aspect of confidence is staying calm under pressure. A confident person is composed even in stressful situations. They don't need to prove themselves through outbursts or grand gestures. Instead, they handle challenges with a steady hand, allowing their actions to speak for them. Arrogance, on the other hand, often surfaces in moments of pressure, when the need to be seen as capable overrides rational behavior. The arrogant individual might make rash decisions just to maintain the appearance of control. Confidence without arrogance also means knowing when to step back and let others shine. A confident person doesn't have to be the center of attention to feel validated. They're comfortable in the background, allowing others to take the spotlight when it's deserved. This shows true strength because it demonstrates security in oneself. Arrogance, by contrast, constantly seeks the limelight, needing the attention to feel important. Finally, confident people don't boast about their accomplishments, they let their results speak for themselves. They don't need to broadcast their achievements because their work and actions make the statement. When you're confident, people recognize your value without you having to declare it. Arrogant individuals, however, often feel the need to advertise their successes, fearing that if they don't, they won't be acknowledged. In summary, to exude confidence without arrogance, be humble, treat others with respect, remain calm under pressure, know when to step back, and let your actions do the talking. Confidence is a quiet strength that earns respect, while arrogance is a loud front that pushes people away. Knowing when to let silence be the final word is a profound skill that can greatly enhance our communication and influence. Silence is often overlooked, yet it carries immense power. When we choose to embrace silence at the right moments, we allow our words and actions to resonate more deeply, fostering a richer connection with others. In conversations, silence can serve as a potent tool for reflection. After sharing an important point or delivering a compelling argument, allowing a pause gives your audience the opportunity to process what they've just heard. This moment of stillness encourages contemplation, prompting individuals to delve into their thoughts and feelings regarding your message. When you speak again after that pause, you'll find that your words land more effectively, often leading to deeper engagement. Moreover, silence can create an air of mystery and anticipation. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with information, a well-timed silence can captivate attention. It draws people in, making them curious about what might follow. This anticipation can heighten interest in what you have to say as the audience hangs on your next words. Instead of merely conveying information, you invite others into a shared experience, making them active participants in the conversation. Silence also demonstrates confidence. When you are comfortable with silence, you convey a sense of self-assuredness that commands respect. People are naturally drawn to those who exhibit confidence without feeling the need to fill every moment with chatter. It signals that you are secure in your thoughts and beliefs, and it often inspires others to listen more intently when you do speak. Furthermore, silence can be a powerful response in conflict situations. Instead of reacting impulsively or escalating tensions with words, a moment of silence can provide clarity and perspective. It allows emotions to settle and promotes thoughtful responses rather than knee-jerk reactions. By choosing silence, you demonstrate emotional intelligence and maturity, qualities that are essential for effective leadership and conflict resolution. Finally, letting silence be the final word can solidify your message. In many cases, concluding a statement with silence amplifies its significance. It invites listeners to reflect on your words and internalize the message, leaving a lasting impression. By allowing silence to linger, you create space for thoughts to evolve and for deeper understanding to take root. In summary, knowing when to let silence be the final word is a vital skill. It enhances our ability to connect, encourages reflection, exudes confidence, aids in conflict resolution, and reinforces our messages. Embrace silence as a powerful tool in your communication arsenal, and watch how it transforms your interactions and influence.